There's a mindset, a rare, dangerous, disruptive mindset that only a few dare to carry. It is not birthed in comfort. It is not raised in applause. It is forged in fire. It is tested in silence. It is the 1% mindset. The 1% mindset says, I will not bow to the average. I will not be seduced by mediocrity. I will not dance to the rhythm of the fearful. While others are sleeping, it's building. While others are whining, it's working. While others are breaking, it's believing. This mindset doesn't come from your degree. It doesn't come from your background. It is not inherited. It is decided. You choose it. You cultivate it. You carry it. It is born when you decide that your destiny will not be held hostage by your past. The 1% mindset doesn't need a crowd to validate it. It knows how to walk alone. It knows how to bleed in private and rise in public. It knows how to go through the valley and keep its eyes on the mountain. There's a war in your mind, a battle between what is easy and what is essential. The 1% mindset silences the voice that says, you're not enough, and roars back, I was built for this. Don't confuse this mindset with arrogance. Oh no, it's not built on pride, it's built on purpose. It doesn't scream to be seen. It moves in silence until the results make the noise. You don't get this mindset from the world, you get it from the fire. The fire of rejection, the fire of betrayal. The fire of almost giving up. But you didn't. You're still here. That means there's still something left inside of you. Something uncommon, something unshakable, something eternal. If you're going to rise, rise different. If you're going to break through boldly. If you're going to win, win with a mind that's already been made up. This is not the year to explain your mindset to the 99%. This is the year to build, walk, fight, and conquer with the 1%. You don't need everyone to believe in you, just the version of you that refused to die in the dark. Ask ChatGPT, nobody ever developed a 1% mindset in a place of comfort. You don't find this kind of power on the sunny side of life. It is not born on the mountaintop. It is forged deep in the fire, in the furnace of affliction, in the crushing weight of not yet. The 1% mindset is not handed to you. It is hammered into you by every trial you thought would take you out. It is in the sleepless nights where you cried out to God and heard nothing but silence. It is in the seasons where doors slammed in your face and people turned their backs, and the dream you carried looked like it was dying right in your hands. But hear me, that's where it was forming you. In the fire, in the rejection, in the betrayal, in the disappointment, in the dark room where no one saw you. But heaven was shaping you, because gold does not shine until it has survived the heat. Diamonds do not sparkle until they've endured the pressure. And purpose, real purpose, will not manifest until you've walked through fire and decided not to bow to the flames. Some of you are in the fire right now, and you think the heat means you're being punished. But I came to tell you, the heat is preparation. The heat is the sign that something is being purified in you. God doesn't put his hand on what he's not about to use. He doesn't let you go through the furnace unless he's about to bring something uncommon out of your life. You want to rise like the 1%? Then learn how to stand when the fire's burning all around you. Learn how to believe when your bank account says impossible, when your body is weak, when your prayers are unanswered and your friends don't understand. Because the 1% mindset isn't proven when things are easy. It's proven when everything is on fire. And you still don't quit. Let me tell you what the fire does. It burns off what's unnecessary. It consumes the fear. It scorches the doubt. It melts away the need to be liked, to be understood, to be validated. It refines your vision until the only thing left is what's real, what's pure, what's powerful. And here's the part most people miss. The fire is not your enemy. It is your environment of transformation. You don't become disciplined until you've suffered lack. You don't become focused until distraction costs you time you can't get back. You don't become bold until life backs you into a corner and fear stops working. That's where the mindset begins to rise. And if you don't run from it, if you don't curse it, if you endure it, you'll come out with a mindset that can't be bought, can't be taught, and sure enough, can't be broken. The 1% mindset is not a gift. It's a refining. It's the reward of those who didn't die in the fire but came out walking in power. If the fire didn't kill you, it came to crown you. The 1% mindset knows how to walk alone. It is not birthed in crowds. It is not built in cheers. It is shaped in silence, but nobody claps, nobody calls, and nobody cares. It learns to walk through empty rooms with full faith. It learns to march when there's no music. It learns to believe without a witness. Some of you are in that season right now. You've been walking by yourself. You've been building something no one else can see, and you've been wondering, why does it feel so quiet? Why am I carrying this thing alone? But hear me, isolation is not abandonment, it's the training ground for the uncommon, because greatness is not grown in groups. Destiny is not shaped in the crowd. There comes a moment in every life that is called to purpose, where the people start to fade and the voices grow still, and it's just you, your faith, and your next step. That's when the mindset is tested. Can you walk when nobody's watching? Can you show up when no one's clapping? Can you keep building when they said you were crazy? The 1% mindset doesn't wait for company. It doesn't pause for consensus. It doesn't stop to see who's coming with it. It moves because it's convicted, not convinced. Everybody wants the stage, but nobody wants the silence. Everybody wants the moment, but few can survive the middle.
That in-between place where it's not working yet, where the fruit hasn't come, where the vision looks like a lie. But the 1% mindset keeps moving anyway.
It walks on the water before it sees the miracle. It steps out of the boat while the waves are still crashing. Some of the most powerful seasons of your life will be the loneliest. When God strips the voices, silences the distractions, removes the noise, not to punish you, but to prove to you that your power was never in people, it was in Him all along. You don't need the whole world to believe in you. You don't even need a crowd. You just need a made-up mind. And let me tell you what happens in silence. You develop discernment. You stop needing validation. You start trusting your inner voice. You learn how to hear the whisper in the wind. Because when the noise dies down, the truth rises up. The 1% mindset gets built when no one sees your sweat. When you show up to the gym before sunrise, and you read the book when everyone else is binging shows, when you pray in the dark while others sleep in ease, when you grind in secret because you know public success is paid for in private suffering. And make no mistake, the silence is sacred. Because in the silence your character is revealed. In the silence your motives are exposed. In the silence you find out, do I want to be seen or do I want to be sent? The 99% need followers. They need fans. They need feedback every 5 minutes just to keep going. But the 1%, they've learned how to lead themselves. They've learned how to encourage themselves in the Lord. They've learned how to be faithful without being famous. If you can't handle silence, you can't handle greatness. Because the higher you go, the fewer voices you'll have. The more anointed you become, the lonelier the road gets. But don't mistake loneliness for failure. It's just the sound of elevation. You are not alone because you're behind. You are alone because you're ahead. And when you learn to walk in silence, you'll roar when it's time to speak. It does not crave claps. It does not depend on cheers. It moves by purpose, not popularity. It is not addicted to attention. It is anchored in assignment. There comes a time when the need to be liked must die so your purpose can live. You cannot serve destiny and be a slave to approval. You cannot chase calling while begging for confirmation. The 1% mindset breaks free from the addiction to being seen and gets obsessed with being sent. Some of you have been held hostage by the sound of approval. You've been waiting for someone to tell you you're enough. You've been waiting for the phone to ring, for the door to open, for someone to say you belong here. But let me tell you, when you walk in purpose, you don't wait to be invited to the table. You build your own table. You show up with your own fire. You walk in the room like you were born for it, even if no one claps when you arrive. The applause of people is temporary. One day they'll cheer for you. The next day they'll question you. One moment they'll lift you. The next, they'll leave you. If your motivation is tied to their affirmation, you'll rise and fall with their emotions. But when you are fueled by purpose, when the fire in your belly burns hotter than the noise outside, you can run when they mock you. You can grind when they ignore you. You can push when they say it's over, because you know it's not about them. Purpose is lonely. Purpose is quiet. Purpose is heavy. But purpose is eternal. The 1% mindset asks, oh, why was I born? Not a do they like me. It's not dancing for likes. It's not chasing attention. It's staying focused. Because there's a call on your life and a fire in your bones. When you've seen what's inside of you, you don't need everyone around you to get it. They didn't see the vision. They weren't there in the struggle. They don't know the weight you carry. So stop expecting them to understand the power that drives you. You were not created to entertain the crowd. You were created to move mountains. You were not anointed to be admired. You were anointed to shift atmospheres. There's a price for chasing applause, and it's your soul. You'll bend. You'll shrink. You'll start editing your purpose just to please the people who were never called to your assignment. But when you live by purpose, you don't flinch when they don't clap. You don't shrink when they don't show up. You build anyway. You believe anyway. You break through anyway. Oh, because the applause was never the goal. Impact was. Obedience was. Let them sleep on you. Let them scroll past your vision. Let them underestimate what you carry. Because when purpose is your engine, delay is not denial. Silence is not surrender. Being overlooked is not being unworthy. You don't need a platform to be powerful. You don't need lights to be anointed. You don't need fans to be faithful. All you need is a purpose that won't leave you alone. A vision that keeps you up at night. A dream that refuses to die, even when everything around you says to give up. The 1% mindset is not looking for fans. It's chasing fruit. It's chasing fulfillment. Ooh, it's chasing the moment when heaven says, "Oh, well done." Because when you're driven by purpose, applause sounds like a whisper next to the roar. There is a war. A war within you. A war between ease and essential. A war between comfort and calling. A war between what feels good and what builds you. And the 1% mindset, it conquers that war. Because every time you choose ease over effort, you abort a piece of your destiny. Every time you choose comfort over character, you delay the arrival of your future. Every time you chase what's convenient instead of what's essential, you trade your crown for crumbs. The 1% mindset feels the same pain as everyone else. It gets tired. It gets tempted. It hears the same whispers of a take a break, a slow down, you've done enough. But it doesn't yield to those whispers. It doesn't bow to the voice of ease. It rises up and says, "There's more in me than this." Ease is a liar. Ease tells you that you deserve to coast. Ease tells you that your gift is enough without discipline. Ease tells you that excellence is extra. But the 1% mindset knows that essential things are rarely easy things. The habits that transform you won't always excite you. The disciplines that grow you won't always comfort you. And the path that elevates you will never be paved in ease. You think discipline is hard. Try regret. You think sacrifice is tough. Try mediocrity. You think showing up when you don't feel like it is painful. Try watching your promise rot because you wouldn't fight for it. The 1% don't win because they're better. They win because they decide differently. They wake up early when their bodies beg for sleep. They show up late when others have gone home. They keep grinding when most people stop. They don't wait for the feeling. They move from conviction. Because ease will kill what God is trying to grow. Ease will smother the fire in your belly. Ease will dull your edge until you're sharp in talent but dull in purpose. But when you choose the essential, when you choose what builds, what stretches, what strengthens, you step into the life you were born for. It's not sexy, it's not glamorous, it's grit. It's showing up to the gym when nobody's watching. It's turning the page when your eyes are tired. It's praying in the midnight hour when everything in you wants to quit. It's doing what matters when no one's clapping, no one's calling, and no one sees. Let me tell you something. Your destiny is too big to be built on convenience. The oil that's on your life, it costs too much to be lazy. The vision in your belly, it's too powerful to be casual. And the breakthrough you're believing for, it's too close for you to give in to comfort now. You don't conquer this war with a one-time choice. You win it daily. In every decision. In every hour. In every temptation to settle for a good enough. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. You can't keep everything. You can't keep your comfort and your calling. You can't keep your excuses and your elevation. You can't keep your old habits and walk into a new season. You've got to decide what's essential, what matters more, what you feel in the moment or what you know you're called to become. The 1% mindset is forged in that furnace of decision. It says no when others say yes. It walks away when others stay. It gets up when others stay down. Not because it's easy, not because it's fun, but because it's essential. Because when you win the war within, there's nothing outside of you that can stop you. You don't become uncommon by blending in. You don't rise by walking the wide road where everybody else is comfortable. You don't break barriers by doing what's average, what's safe, what's familiar. The 1% mindset is uncommon because it's unwilling to be ordinary. It refuses to accept what everyone else says is enough. It pushes past the line where most people stop. It climbs when others coast. It digs deeper when others draw back. If you want what only a few have, you must be willing to do what only a few do. That's what makes you uncommon. Not your background, not your education, not your connection. Your willingness to be different, to walk alone when necessary, to stand up when it would be easier to sit down, to speak up when silence is more convenient. See, most people want to win, but they want to win while staying liked. They want greatness without resistance. They want elevation without separation. But the uncommon don't need the crowd to clap. They don't wait for permission. They don't require validation. They've decided, even if I got to walk this road by myself, I'm going to walk it with fire in my bones. The 1% mindset doesn't just show up. It shows up with intention. It walks into the room different. It carries vision in its eyes. It doesn't look around to compare, it looks ahead to conquer. Because when you know who you are, when you know what's inside of you, you don't need to mimic what others are doing. You're too busy becoming who you were born to be. But hear me, it costs something to be uncommon. It costs comfort. It costs popularity. It costs the applause of people who don't understand your fire. It costs nights of grinding when no one sees you. It costs turning down shortcuts that promise success without sacrifice. You can't live like everyone else and expect results that nobody else gets. You can't hang with people who love average and expect to produce excellence. You can't talk like lack and think like legacy. You've got to make a decision. Do I want to fit in, or do I want to rise up? And sometimes rising means releasing. Releasing habits that don't honor your destiny. Releasing people who can't go with you. Releasing mindsets that kept you bound in seasons where you were supposed to soar. Because the higher you go, the lighter you've got to travel. Eagles don't fly with flocks. They soar alone. You were never built to be average. There's something about you that refuses to settle. There's a fire in your belly that won't go out. That's why mediocrity makes you miserable. That's why ordinary drains you. Because deep down, you know, you were made for more. And let me tell you this, being uncommon will cost you relationships. Now, it will make people question you. They'll say, you've changed. Yes, you should change. You should grow. You should evolve. You should stop trying to make yourself small just to fit in rooms that were never built to hold your greatness. This is your call to break the mold, to stop shrinking, to stop playing it safe, to stop waiting for someone else to go first. You go first. You run. You rise. You become the example others will follow. Because the 1% don't look for examples, they become them. They don't wait for the culture to shift, they shift it. They don't wait for approval, they walk in authority. They don't ask what's everybody else doing. They ask what's required of me to become who I was destined to be. You're not here to be a copy. You're not here to blend in. You're not here to be convenient. You're here to carry the uncommon oil. To walk in the kind of excellence that shakes atmospheres. To think in a way that breaks chains. To live in such a way that when people see you, they see what's possible. You cannot keep thinking average and expect to live extraordinary. You cannot hold on to small thoughts and step into a big destiny. You cannot entertain fear, doubt, and mediocrity, then wonder why you keep circling the same mountain. The 1% mindset begins in the mind. Before it's a reality, it's a thought. Before it's seen, it's conceived. Your mind is the womb of your future. And if the womb is contaminated, the birth will be compromised. If your thinking is limited, your living will be restricted. If your thoughts are trapped, your life will stay caged. You don't rise higher than your thoughts. You rise through them. The battlefield is not out there. It's in here. It's in the whispers that tell you, you're not enough. It's in the memories that try to define you. It's in the mental loops that play like broken records. You'll always be this. You can't break that. You'll never become. But the 1% mindset doesn't just resist that noise. It replaces it. It speaks truth in the face of trauma. It declares victory in the middle of the valley. It reprograms the mind until faith becomes the default, until strength becomes the setting, until boldness becomes the baseline. You were never created to be passive in your mind. You were never meant to let your thoughts wander like lost sheep. You were called to lead your mind, train your mind, command your mind. Because if you don't tell your mind where to go, it'll take you somewhere you never wanted to be. And this is where the enemy fights the hardest. Not in your hands, not in your feet, but in your head. Because he knows if he can control your thoughts, he can cripple your future. If he can get you to believe small, dream small, speak small, then he